Hey everybody, CVH here, and today we'll be playing some more Orc Warrior on the Legend ladder. I did a recent video of Orc Warrior and the deck tech, I think a little bit over a week ago. Decided to queue it up for some more games for YouTube because I have enjoyed the deck quite a bit, had a lot of fun with it in the post-Fall of the Dark Brotherhood metagame, and a good amount of success with it on the ladder as well. It's maintained a pretty good win rate for me when I've played it. I have tested a few different things in the build, such as the Unstoppable Rage, which didn't seem to fit too well, so I wanted to keep the curve a little bit lower, going a little bit heavier on the Garnag and Reeve for a little more 4-drops than we had before. The thing we cut down to 2 was the Pharaoh Defender, which has seemed a little bit lackluster due to the lack of straightforward aggro decks. Still keeping the rapid shots, however, because I think they're slightly more versatile. I have considered cutting them a bit in the past as well, but the deck, for just, jamming a bunch of orcs into warrior with all the support cards that you need to play. Besides all of that, it does have a surprising amount of flex spots, so if you're playing this on the ladder, depending on what you're playing against, there's a lot of different things you can include. You also don't need to, feel too pressured into going very hard into strength like I am for the Mighty Allies. You could go a different way with that. I've had a lot of success with the Allies, however, so I do recommend them personally. Let's ring into Dragontail Savior, get on the board quite early. That's what this deck wants to do. We have the ring, and we have a pretty reasonable curve. Let's get over so I'm not blocking the it's recording a video, and I guess I left my webcam a little bit too large. Ooh, so Stone Shard Orc is definitely a consideration here. We could just ring into that, pop off the ward on the Windkeep Spell Sword, attack over with the 2/3. We'd have two 2/1s on the board to his nothing. Very likely that we'd have a Bankcry Butcher for next turn to play. We could play Mighty Ally. And I do like the Ally, but it might make my next turn a little bit weaker. If he does have a Firebolt and trades into the... we would probably play the Mighty Ally on the right, obviously. If he has a Firebolt, trades into the 2/3 Dragontail Savior, then we can't Stone Shard Orc that to finish it off. We can't Butcher. It is pretty tempting, though. Pretty tempting to Ally and just hope this thing lives so we can Bankcry Butcher next turn. We are so likely to hit with it. I think I'm going to go for it. Now, even though we have the Butcher, I'm pretty sure I'd rather guarantee the 6/3 can at least attack once. It's important to do this, as early as possible. Being able to ring into Mighty Ally means the sorcerer opponent that we have cannot simply Lightning Bolt it as an immediate response. Alright, so we kind of, won the gambit there. We have the Bankcry Butcher live, and we don't have anything better to do with our magic, I don't think. We could just Stone Shard Orc down the 2/2. Smack for 8 after doing so. We know our Mighty Ally is going to die. If we play Bankcry Butcher, we will be left with a 6/5. If we don't, we'll be left with 2 2/1s. But of course, if we play the Bankcry Butcher, we'd have more damage on the board in the future, but we'd push a little bit less damage now because we would be trading with the 2/2 to prevent a Lightning Bolt from dealing with the Butcher itself. This is not an easy call. Not an easy call. I think for the sake of only giving him one card this turn, I'm going to go for the Butcher. We want to make sure we can trade. We want to make sure we can play the Butcher as well, so let's ring out the Butcher. Go in. Oh, we hit a Prophecy. Feels bad, man. If it's Lightning Bolt, he might get to keep his Mammoth, or he could couple it with a Firebolt to take care of both of my creatures. Either way, not great for us. Harpy, also not great for us. Interesting that he would be shackling that one. I figured that would be the one most likely to die since he had... Okay, that makes more sense now. Now that we're seeing all of that. I still would have probably shackled this one first in case, he drew something that made him not want to take that trade. But hey, who am I to judge? So we could just play another Butcher. He still can't answer the first one on board, so I think I like this. If we could answer the one on board, we have a couple ways to try to remove it. But I think we can just go for Butcher number 2. We can keep fighting in this lane, I think. It's 2 6/5s versus 2 2/1s. But he is on the play now. It was a hefty investment to clear, and we can push another 8 this turn if we want a more cool Gatekeeper. That 2-drop seems to fit well with the Gatekeeper plan. We can play both in the right, if we want, and I think we do want.
Close ranks, let nothing through.
No more prophecies. Alright, seems good. Of course, we could have played Shaman in the left. We could have played everything in the left if we really wanted to. We could have traded, deal the 4 breakthrough damage instead of the 8. But 8's a much larger number than 4, and we are an aggro deck, so that's what we'll be doing. Considering he still has to make the trade for us in almost every conceivable time that he's going to be able to kill the Butcher. The Shadowfen Priest is going to have to be part of that. Ooh, we are pushing some serious damage, everybody. I am liking this. With the Defender and the Stone Shard Orc, we can deal 5 to one of these things. Man, that's a lot. Yeah, I'm on board with that plan. And these two will have to, you know, they have fought the good fight. They're just going to have to trade into that. Fortunately, not dealing any breakthrough damage. We can play this. I think I like it over here to protect this from future attacks. And of course, we can play this over here too. Makes the potential Orc Clan Captain better next turn if we could top deck one. Trade, face for another 8. Bankcry Butcher doing some serious work. At this point, it's hard to imagine a comeback. Eventually, we're going to be drawing cards like Sower of Revenge and Orc Clan Captain. Excuse me, Wood Orc Headhunter. It's only a matter of time. Interesting to play that in mid-range Sorcerer. You guys might have seen some of my Wismother Value Assassin playing that card. Kind of a good draw. You know, it's not lethal or anything, but it is a pretty perfect card to fit into our curve. So let's silence this, go in for 3. Make sure we get the max damage in first in case we get a Prophecy here. That's why we're not playing the Mighty Ally first. That would be the thing we don't want to have lightning bolted. At this point, it didn't matter if it hit or not, or it shouldn't rather, unless he played a guard, then we need the breakthrough damage. Belligerent Giant, just in case. Who knows? Might not be needed. He is at 3.
Your story has finished.
You won't escape alive.
It's an enticing, favorable trade. Ice Storm in this deck. I did not expect that. Well, it's incredibly unlikely he can, you know, kill me now. He's removed his own pressure from the board as well. Yeah, I think we just smack. I'm almost tempted to play this Belligerent Giant just to play around another Ice Storm. But we also haven't seen any Lightning Bolts, and I'm sure they're in the deck as well. Holding the Ravager might make sense if we hit to top deck a Wood Orc Headhunter, and we get both of our Orcs removed. But holding the Giant obviously makes a lot of sense if he's going to play a guard against me. If we split the lanes, one guard would still be able to get the job done because this only has one attack. He could just leave this lane, the open lane. So it's actually kind of a tough call yet again. We can only play one. Can only play one. How many Firebolts have been used? I don't think this is a Cunning Ally deck. 1 Firebolt's been used, no Lightning Bolt's been used, 1 Ice Storm has been used. What if he tries to apply counter pressure? I think I'll just play the Ravager. This could come back to bite me. Well, there's nothing with charge, so I can still split the lanes.
Be on your guard. I hate this crown. Stand uncovered.
So it's unclear whether or not we would have gotten the job done with the Belligerent Giant. Safe play? Play Sower of Revenge? Maybe? Maybe that's the safe play. Hope he doesn't have another Shadowfen Priest or a Mummify. Could Belligerent Giant back the guard, smack for 1. That doesn't really do much, I don't think. Where should Sower of Revenge go? It's likely to die in the left, obviously. How much worse is that for me if he does wind up having a silence? Hopefully we can install for more time with this and with the Belligerent Giant if we need to, but I think we're just going to go for this.
Do you not fear me, mortal?
That guard actually blocks it from, you know, either dying or hitting face, so I think we just put it over here and hope there's no immediate answer, because we can trade it in ourselves next turn, and it should die every single time if it doesn't get silenced or mummified.
You must be cleansed.
Well, he's on trading duty, at least. That does really hurt, though.
Careful there, friend.
Interesting call to ward it before trading. Warding it after would also, I think, have been fine. If we play the Giant and the Shaman... Well, we're very unlikely to die, first of all. If we play the Giant and the Shaman, the breakthrough from the Giant should kill him. So we really need the Shaman. Does playing the Shaman actually do anything for us? If he has a Harpy, this still doesn't get the job done. Even if we top decked a Morgul Gatekeeper. He clearly plays in the Shadow Lane. We clearly would bounce one of the 3 drops. I think I'll bounce the one with the higher attack. Just in case he's about to go in. And yeah, we'll hold the Shaman to activate Wood Orc Headhunter, I guess. We have 3 of those. We haven't seen any of them yet. 35 cards left. Stands to reason that they're going to be coming eventually if the game happens to drag on longer. We've seen a lot of Harpies. I think he's down to his last Shrieking Harpy. I really hope he doesn't find it.
Mother of mud.
2 Lightning Bolts kills me. Could just be trying to set up for next turn. I feel like if he's attacking with all this, he's probably attacking with this as well.
Stand fast.
By the 8, they will meet their makers.
We are super close, but not quite there.
Beseech the gods. May the fates smile on Khajiit.
I don't think we have any outs. There are a lot of things that would have killed my opponent here, and I don't think any of them are possible. We have yet to see any of our chargers, all 6 of them, which is really depressing because we definitely need one here. We can silence our own belligerent giant, but the guard is blocking our path, and we will be silencing our own breakthrough, so it will not actually kill him. Silence the guard, obviously we have no charger, so it doesn't really help us. We can get something back from the discard if we had any sort of charge. That would be great, but we just don't. Getting back Stone Shard Orc doesn't do anything for us as well. We have none of the magicka we would need to play it. I think that's pretty much it.
It has been
The
an
forest will
engaging
not suffer
hunt.
your presence.
And we can hit concede. That one actually feels really bad. There were so many things that would have killed our opponent there.
A hard-fought victory.
Oh well, let's try again. Yeah, did not see any Battle Rage Orcs in that many cards, or, you know, well, basically we lost the game when the Sower Revenge got silenced. If we had put it in the right, I guess we could have tried to use it as a beat stick itself. We were relying on the effect, I suppose. Seemed like our most consistent way to kill our opponent, but I could have misread the situation. Might have to watch that one back. Definitely a very close game, though. So we had the 3 Wood Orc Cannoners that would have killed our opponent. We had the 3 Battle Rage Orcs that would have killed our opponent. If we had the 2nd and the 3rd Earthbone Spinners, I believe that would have worked. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, maybe not like the most outs, but, you know, having not seen any of them, even if we had seen one Battle Rage throughout the game, we could have just relied on the potential chance to get it back with the Chieftain. Another Sower Revenge there. I don't think we had enough magicka to play it and pop it off ourselves by sacrificing in a full lane. This queue time's been pretty long today. Wonder what's up with that. Giving me a lot of time to mull over my previous game. Wish I had the screenshots up in front of me right now. I could think about whether or not the Sower was in the right lane. It felt right, but I don't know. I don't know. Have to go back and check. He definitely identified when to attack, right? He was like, I have to 2-turn my opponent. He obviously has a lot of things that would kill me, but gotta take the risk. He took the risk and it paid off. I guess we keep a 2 and a 3. We don't have the ring, so we can't really be too greedy here. Ship one Orc Legendary, get the other Orc Legendary. So you ship 2 cards. It could be Firebolt, Execute, something like that. Maybe a Wardcrafter, Daggerfall Mage. It's this one. Yeah, more than likely a control deck.
We stand united.
So cards like Headhunter and Sower to start pushing a massive amount of damage really early are very important, because if the game goes late, we're going to have some serious issues.
Let's shed some light on the problem.
It's not great to see. Alright, that is kind of good to see. We could Battle Rage Orc and trade with that, then he Firebolts this and we lose our board. We could Battle Rage Orc and go face, then he Firebolts this, attacks over this, and we lose our entire board for free, and he still has a 3-1, so I'm just going to lose this for free. Play Mighty Ally, and unfortunately already have to abandon the lane. The power of not having the Ring of Magicka and your opponent having a Cunning Ally that procs on turn 2. It's very backbreaking as an aggro deck, so we're just going to be over here now and hope he doesn't have Ring into Lightning Bolt.
I have you now.
If he does, at least we have the Battle Rage to play next turn, and we'd really need it to survive. Alright, Schemer is thankfully not a Lightning Bolt. Still pretty good. Could function as a Lightning Bolt next turn. Cruel Firebloom is a card my opponent is playing in his deck. Didn't see that one coming, guys. Well, Rapid Shot against a control deck is pretty bad, so I'm just going to use it here to clear off this Cunning Ally and take back the field lane somewhat. I think we'll convert the Wood Orc Headhunter to damage as soon as possible, assuming this Orc sticks, because Sower of Revenge should deal pretty consistent damage against our mage opponent. I've officially lost any semblance of an idea of what this deck is. Don't Cruel Firebloom me again, please. That's more like it. Alright, let's play Wood Orc Headhunter, and let's do so in the right, so it can hopefully survive. Let's do it first. Make sure we get this 5 damage in. Okay. We know he has 1 Firebolt. This is definitely going to die this turn, whether or not it's to these, to the Firebolt, a combination. Something like that. Hopefully this can connect for another 5.
Let's shed some light on the problem.
It unfortunately won't, because Cunning Ally likes to do horrible things to me. So he's down to 1/1/1 in the right, in the left, excuse me. He definitely needs to kill that. A lot of activators, or a lot of cards that would be activated if he left 1 Orc on my side of the board. Belligerent Giant number 2. Well, these could start being very powerful next turn. So we have that going for us at least. And Mage should really fear Sower of Revenge because there aren't any silences except for Knife to the Throat, which is a very inefficient, neutral, 4-cost card that I would personally not mind seeing him play here, simply because that's his whole turn and guarantees that my 5/5 would be connecting. Just about as good as dealing 5 off of the last gasp. Definitely okay with this too. This is the 4-cost Schemer, so I may in fact just use it as the Belligerent Giant target. I would rather him play that again than get another Firebolt potentially. Could bounce that, but it is more Magicka efficient. And it deals less damage on the board. It's really in the tank about what to discard here. Discarding the Execute makes sense.
Your destruction is at hand.
Ring into Brutal Ashlander. Ashlander is a bit concerning. Obviously, I could make the Clan Captain Earthbone play, but I don't think it's a very good play. I'd much rather just play Belligerent Giant. Discarding an Execute makes me think he has a lot more removal for tiny things. Yeah, I'm going to go in, and I'm going to play Belligerent Giant and target the 3/1. So he's effectively at 9. Effectively at 9. because we know the Sower is going to deal 5 damage somehow. So if we could connect with the Belligerent Giant, we already have 8 damage with the Clan Captain. We could easily find 1 or 2 more points of damage. I have no idea what healing this deck is running. I have no idea what cards this deck is running anymore. My ability to read this deck was lost as soon as the Cruel Fire Bloom and then the Imperial Reinforcements were played on me. The Ashlander is just compounding my confusion. I have to imagine there are token synergistic cards because of the Imperial Reinforcements, but that also implies a lot of yellow. There are Resolute Allies and Cunning Allies in this deck. My questions have been answered here.
Let's dance.
He's not drawing first, but he is drawing.
Nice try. Care to go again?
It is more likely to die if I play it in the left, I believe. Because he could just Javelin that and trade into this and kill everything. But we would have potentially had lethal. We now only have 13 because I can only Orc Clan Captain up one of my dudes. I mean, this should be enough to realistically seal the game here. So yeah, it should be, right? We deal the 7 here. I think that's the way we do this first. Yeah. Alright, so we won that one. Against a crazy token mage deck that I guess is what I'm going to call it, as token mage. It makes sense to me, Resolute Allies and a bunch of tokens. So that's a bit of Orc Warrior on the ladder. Almost pulled out that game 1, would have been a really satisfying one, but unfortunately just couldn't find the reach. And game 2 was sort of the steamroll that we kind of expect, even though we had a couple little potential roadblocks in the Cunning Allies specifically. As always, if you've enjoyed, feel free to leave a like, feel free to comment, feel free to stay subscribed to the channel for more gameplay videos, strategy content. Stay tuned to the stream and the link at the description down below for daily streams of Elder Scrolls Legends, and I'll see you guys next time.